Guys, so for day 14 of Halloween nail designs, I am doing some Opal Ghost nails. Um, I think it was a couple months ago I did an Opal set, and I had used some little flakes that I had, and I was saying how I didn't like those flakes because they didn't sit very flat to the nail. And then I posted a video on TikTok of me like doing the nails, and someone commented and suggested these flakes here. I think the brand is called Laza. I think that's how you pronounce it. They're from Amazon. I got 3 different like color schemes. I think it's like Starry Night, Monet Garden, and like Mermaid something or another. Um, but she recommended those because they sit flat to the nail, and then you don't have to like encapsulate the nail and then do all the filing and everything. So I immediately went and bought those and wanted to try opal nails again. And since Halloween was coming up, I was like, ooh, that'd be really cute to do some opal ghosts. So that's what I'm doing here. To start off, I'm just taking white wedding from Ball Pit. It's like a off-white kind of color, and I thought that would be better for the opal nails instead of the like regular stark white, milky white. I think I used Dreaming of Iceland in my last opal set, and it still looked really good, but I kind of felt like it was a little too bright of a white, and I feel like this kind of like off-white color would give a more realistic kind of opal look. So I just did 1 coat of that, and I cured that for 60 seconds. And then I took the little flakes that I have here and one of the little sponge applicators that you use for like chrome and stuff, and just dipped it into those, and then just kind of pressed them into the nail. And I did them in random areas, and like there was no rhyme or reason to how I was putting them on, and I just kind of like mixed them up a little bit and just kind of placed them wherever. And you can see the flakes, they have like different reflex to them, and they are good. They do look different on like on different colored background. So like on black nails they would look a little different than how they look here on this like white nail, but I thought they would look really good for the opal nails, and I wanted to use all 3 of them for this to kind of give like some variation in colors, because opal is kind of like rainbowy, and I felt like using all 3 of them was going to give me that nice like rainbowy look. Although you could probably just use, 1 of the colors or 2 of the colors or whatever, but like I said, I wanted to use all 3 of them because I felt like it gave a lot of variation. And I just pressed those down into that sticky layer that was left behind, and they sat on the nail so well. Like they were so flat, and I was so happy with this because in that last opal video that I did, I complained a lot about how those other flakes that I used did not sit flat, and like why those other flakes would work really well if you were to encapsulate them, like if you were doing them on yourself or whatever, or on another person, you could easily like put those down first and then encapsulate them and they would be fine. But for something like this where you're just doing some press-ons, or even if you were doing this on yourself and you didn't want, or on someone else, and you didn't want to go through the whole encapsulation process, you could just do it like use these and they sit flat on the nail, and then you don't have to worry about encapsulating them and filing them down and everything, and like worrying about if they're going to stick out through any of the polish or anything. Like they sit flat on the nail, and like you cannot feel them if you run your hand over them or anything. They don't leave any kind of lumpiness or texture or anything. So I was super happy about this, and I was so glad that um that lady who commented on, like, I'm so happy she saw my TikTok and was able to comment and give me some help, because like I said, I was trying to figure out like what kind of flakes I needed to get, and I didn't know like a specific brand or a specific type of flake I needed to look for. And I'm so glad for her, so thankful for her, because she definitely made things so much easier. And these flakes you can get off of Amazon, and they have so many different colors. But she recommended the Starry Night one and the Monet Garden one, and then I saw the Mermaid one on there too, and I was like, ooh, I really want that one as well. But like I said, they have a bunch of different ones that you could choose from, and I will probably end up buying the rest of them because I do really like these. And they're just super fun, and they do give like this really nice effect whenever you want like some little pop of color or like little shimmery bits in the background or something for some nail art. But anyhow, after I got those on the nail, I just went in with another coat of this white wedding color and painted right on top of that. And then I did cure it for 60 seconds. And I will say that for the most part, I didn't have any issues with like the flakes like falling out and getting stuck on the brush or anything. There were a couple times, like right there, you can see when I flipped it over, there is like one little flake on there, and it wasn't happening on every single nail, but when I did notice it, I would wipe the brush off on a lint-free wipe to remove that, so I wasn't contaminating the rest of my polish. I think maybe I just didn't smush them down enough, or like didn't remove any of the little excess bits. So probably next time I do this, I'll like smush them on and then take like a fan brush and just kind of dust it off to kind of remove any little excess parts that aren't like fully stuck down or like sitting on top of other flakes, so they're not stuck in that sticky layer there. So that way I'm not having any issues with them getting into whatever polish I'm using. But also, I can just, like, if it does get on the brush, you can just wipe it off on a lint-free wipe and remove it before you stick it back in the bottle. Like, it's really no big deal. And then after I got that cured on, I did go in and do some more of these little flakes just to give a little more depth and dimension in it. I kind of went a little overboard with the flakes, I think. I think maybe I should have used a little bit less flakes and kind of been a little more strategic with the placement. But also, I do really like how it looks like this with the multi layers, and like pretty much the entire nail is covered with these flakes. You can see on the second layer I am kind of picking and choosing a little more on where I'm putting the flakes, whereas on that first layer I did just kind of cover that entire layer. So I don't know, I think you could probably do it either way. I think I did it the same way the first time too, where I pretty much covered the entire first layer and then just kind of put them down on a few little spots on the second layer. But I feel like there's probably no really right or wrong way to do this, because you're making it look like opal, and real opal is kind of unpredictable, and Some are gonna have more color, some are gonna have less color. So I don't know. I was just having a lot of fun with applying these little flakes on here, so I put a lot on there. And then I went in and I added I think this is the last coat of the white wedding color. And then I cured this for 60 seconds as well. And I said this in my last Opal video that you can do as many layers as you want or as few layers as you want. I also said in the last one that I probably should have done like those little white streaks that you see on like gemstones and stuff at the end to make it look a little more realistic, and I didn't do it on this set because I was like, I'm gonna do these ghosts and I don't know if that would look good or not to have like the little white veining going through it or not. So I decided to not do the white veining, but if you wanted it to look, more like actual opal, the white veining would be really cool. And you can do that with regular white gel polish, like draw some squiggly lines on there and then like I guess like blur them out or fade them a little bit with a cleanup brush and some alcohol. You just kind of tap it on there and it'll like remove a lot of it and like kind of make it spread out, kind of the same way you would do like smoke nails. Or you could use like those marble inks and use like a white marble ink and do that. I know a lot of people use those for like marbling and like creating gemstones and whatever. But anyhow, I didn't do that. So moving on to painting on the little ghosts. I did wipe all of the nails off with some alcohol to remove that sticky layer beforehand. And now I'm just going in. I don't think I showed what I was using. Or maybe I did. I don't know. I might have missed that. I am pretty sure I'm using the black from Ball Pit. I can't remember exactly if I used the black or like gel polish or if I used the emo black liner gel, but that's looking more like the regular gel polish and not the liner gel. So I'm pretty sure I used the black from Ball Pit, the gel polish, not the liner gel. And I just drew kind of like a basic outline of a ghost, and then I went around and filled it all in around the edges and stuff. And I was just using my liner brush to fill it in. If you wanted to, you can use the brush straight from the bottle to take a little bit less time filling it in. But I don't know, I just felt like because there was so many like curves and especially the wavy part at the bottom of the ghost, it would just be easier for me to fill all that space in with my liner brush. And then while the gel was still wet, I went in and did like the little ripples, I guess, or the folds, to make it look like the fabric of the ghost. Or not the fabric, but you know how ghosts are painted and they kind of look like ripply and wavy and flowy and whatever. Like I was trying to do that, and I just took my brush and dragged it from the wet polish from the background and just dragged it up a little bit to create those. I didn't add any more gel polish onto it because I wanted to keep them like not necessarily a solid black line, but kind of just almost like a shadow, almost to kind of give that effect of like the waviness or the folds or whatever in the ghost. And then I also painted on the little eyes on the ghost. And then I just set it to the side, and then I was going to, after I get all of the ghost done, I went ahead and cured for a full 60 seconds. But like I always say, if you want to cure in between, or if you want to flash cure in between, whenever you feel like you need to, you can. It just kind of depends on what I'm doing. If I do flash cure or cure in between. But for this, yeah, I painted all the ghosts on all of the nails, and then I cured them all together. But if I was doing this like on myself or on someone else, I would flash cure each nail individually because that'd be a lot of gel to potentially mess up and bump. So, but because I am doing them on press-ons, I can just set them to the side and cure them all together at the end. So yeah, I just went through, did all these little ghosts. I did try to, on this one, do the lines beforehand, but I liked doing it the other way better, where I had the extra, where I had like the gel there to pull up from. Not that it really made that big of a difference, because I did have enough gel on my brush to do that, but I don't know. I just felt like it was better to do it afterwards, after I got them all filled in. And those lines I tried to put on like the hump of the wave that I did at the bottom, because at the bottom I kind of did like a, what's it called when it's like the humps, scalloped edge, I think. You know when you have those different scissors as a kid that had like the different patterns they would cut out. I think the rounded, humpy, lumpy one. My descriptions are so great. Humpy, lumpy one. I think that was called scalloped edge. Like that's a scalloped edge. That's kind of what I was doing there, I think. So I put it on like the hump part, like the hump part of the little humps that I did, if that makes any sense. I mean, you can see it there. I think looking at it makes a lot more sense than me trying to explain it. But anyhow, I'll just let this play out and you can watch me paint all these ghosts. And it looks like here I did switch over to using the brush to fill in the rest of it. I kind of just did a border around the ghost so I wouldn't get so close to it and potentially mess it up, and then just took the brush and did the rest of it. I honestly don't remember exactly what I did for this. This was the very first video that I had filmed for my Halloween videos, and this was way back, I want to say end of July, beginning of August, because I started doing all of my Halloween nails back in August, but I did this one first way before all of the rest of them because I did it as soon as I ordered those little flakes there. So this one was done way earlier, and I honestly can't remember what all exactly I did. So apparently I did switch over to filling in with the brush. Anyhow, enjoy me painting ghosts again. then after I got all of the ghosts painted, I went in with my shiny top coat from LGN and top coated all of the nails. And once I got that applied, I cured for 60 seconds. I just did shiny top coat because I feel like usually when it comes to like gemstone nails, they are usually topped with shiny top coat, so that's what I went with. I also kind of felt like maybe the flakes would show up better with the shiny top coat, but now I'm also kind of wondering how they would look if they were matte and how that would like affect the shine and sparkle from those little flakes. That's something I want to test out now. I might end up doing another opal nail just to see what they would look like if they were matte. I feel like they would probably look pretty cool. I don't know. I wonder if they would look more realistic if they were matte or if they look more realistic when they're shiny. And this is the finished result. I think these are super cute. I really love the colorfulness of those flakes, and I love how you can really see them just even here under like my filming lights and everything. I know sometimes that makes it a little difficult to see stuff, and I feel like because these are fairly light colored flakes, and then I layered multiple layers of that white jelly color, milky color on top of them, it kind of muted them out a little more, but you can really see them a lot. And I love how different they all are compared to each other, and how you can see the different colors differently on each one of the ghosts. Even though I pretty much did the same thing on all of the nails, each one of these ghosts has their own little like personality going on based off of how they were painted on and the different colors that are showing through on them. I tried to get the colors to pop through a little more by turning off the flash or turning off the lights. But my phone, because I do film on my phone, it does tend to have a little bit of a hard time picking up light colors like that. I finally figured out that if I mess around with it and I change like some setting, I think it's the exposure, and I like put it way low, it picks up better. So I started doing that now whenever I do like in the dark shots with the flash, and this is the result of that. Look at these, they are so cool. I absolutely love them, and I think they are super cute and give like ghost nails a little extra pop and make them a little more fun compared to like just a regular white painted ghost on the nail, which is super fun and cute. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.